Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and I love to craft. Today we're going to be doing some Valentine's Day inspired crafts. We're going to be making some pennant flags and some heart-shaped embroidered basket tags, a birthday card, and a Valentine's Day card. So go ahead and grab your snack and a drink and let's get into today's video. I went to Joann's and picked up the Solid Golds paper pack. It does come with some pretty neat pages like this chunky glitter page and a holographic page and some textured pages, but today we're going to be using this solid gold page. I also picked up the shimmer pastel paper pack. It does come with 36 sheets, and I really like this one because it's perfect for spring. All of the pastels are super pretty, but today we're actually going to be using this pink page right here. Dollar Tree has the cutest craft and bead storage containers, so I did pick up a few packs of these. They are perfect for storing any sort of beads or shaker card fillers, so I'm actually going to go ahead and transfer over this filler into these craft storage bins. Currently, Hobby Lobby does have all of their Valentine craft things on sale for 40% off, so I did pick this one up from Hobby Lobby. And as you can see, this filler hardly even filled up this container, so these are the perfect size for this. I went ahead and cut this piece of cardstock out with my Cricut, and I did use the score tool. It just makes it much easier for me to be able to fold it. Oops, and I did get a little bit of fingernail polish on it, but that's completely okay. We are going to be setting up this card to where it's going to be covered up. I am going to be using this double-sided tape that I got from Amazon. It will be linked in the description box below. It is super user-friendly. You just peel it up, cut it with the scissors, and we're going to be attaching the front panel to the card. And there's a sweet little hand. My youngest one is in the craft room today helping me. He is actually working on some crafts himself, which I will post a picture at the very end of this video. It's super cute. That is also another reason why this video today is a voiceover, because we are singing along to all of his favorite songs. So next I'm going to be taking a weeding tool and I just press on the back of the paper backing on the double-sided tape, and we just peel it up very easily. Now we're going to attach the front panel to the card. I do like to stand up for this step just because I like for the pieces to be nice and even. I did buy this roll of acetate from walmart.com. I could definitely link that down in the description box below. It's actually in the baker's section, and so one side the double-sided tape does not really stick to, and so in just a minute you will be seeing how we're going to apply the glue. But for now, we're just measuring out how big of a piece of acetate that we need to be working with. But for now, we're going to be adding on the double-sided tape. I did cut the strips in half, that way that no double-sided tape hangs over the sides. Make sure to get the double-sided tape all the way around and you don't miss any spots. You don't want your sequins or card filler to fall out. I'm going to take my weeding tool again and take all of the paper backings off of the double-sided tape. Now that I have taken off the backing of the double-sided tape, I'm going to take my piece of acetate and I'm going to slowly roll it onto the frame of the card. You want to make sure that you press down on all of the edges so that your card filler or sequins do not spill out. And this is what it should look like when you're done doing that. Now take a pair of scissors and go around each side and trim it up. Once you're done with that, you're going to go around the corners and you're going to trim those up as well. You want to make sure that everything looks nice and even, and this is the end result. It should look nice and clean. Now go ahead and grab your double-sided foam tape. I did pick this up from the Dollar Tree in a 3-pack, and you're also going to want to grab some glue. I did get this bottle of glue off of Amazon, and I just refill it up with Elmer's glue every single time. Now you're going to take your glue and go around all of the edges of the card and then apply the double-sided tape. Make sure that it's even so that none of your sequins or card filler falls out. Once you're done adding that double-sided tape, allow it a few minutes for that glue to dry and then go ahead and peel off the backing. Then I took my Cricut and I cut out I love you, which is going to be the sentiment in the card, and I did use that gold full pack that I did show you at the beginning of the video. I started using my wax tool to pick up these pieces, but then I realized that it just was not working, so I just used my finger. But here I'm using that same glue bottle that has the Elmer's glue in it, and this is how it turned out. Now I'm going to be taking the card filler. I did change it up. I'm not going to use the other pack. I am going to be using this one. Again, it was 40% off currently at my store. I'm going to be using one of those Dollar Tree containers again to pour this card filler in there. I just think that they are super handy and all of it fits in there perfectly. I could even buy a whole nother bottle and it probably wouldn't even fill it up. So I'm just going to pour out a little bit onto my card. I don't want to put too much because I do want it to be able to move around. And so I think actually I'm going to add a second layer of the double-sided tape just to give it a little bit more dimension so that the card filler can move around in. Okay, so I actually thought that I was recording, but my camera battery died, and so I completely missed the ending of making this card. So what you're going to do is put the top onto the card, press it down firmly with your sequins or your card filler inside, and this is how it turned out. If you need any more additional tutorials, I do have a few other videos on my YouTube channel, but the shaker card turned out perfect and I can't wait for you to see the next card. Now let's get started on the flag pennant project. I took a piece of cardstock and I cut it with my Cricut, and I also picked up these 3 different colors of felt from Joann's. I did red, pink, and white with glitter, and then I took the piece of cardstock and I traced 2 triangles onto the red piece of felt and cut it with my scissors. I used a piece of cardstock again and cut out an X and an O with my Cricut. I know that I could have done all the letters in cardstock, but I did want to utilize the pink and also the white piece of felt that I picked up from Joann's. It was only, I think, about 50 or 60 cents for this piece of felt, which was a 9 by 12. And I'm just going to cut it with my scissors. It does not have to be perfect. This is just a few flag pennants for my Valentine's baskets for my boys. And so I doubt that they're even going to notice that some of the lines are uneven. So I cut out 2 X's and 2 O's, and I'm also going to be repeating this same exact step on the white piece of felt. Again, it was about 50 or 60 cents for a 9 by 12 piece of white felt. This one did have glitter on it, which you can't really tell on the camera. And then I'm going to take the wooden dowels that I picked up from Dollar Tree. These are actually really good quality. I've been using them for a few different projects, so I already had a pack opened. But now I'm going to be taking the white piece of felt again, and I cut a strip just to go on the side of the flag pennant. And I kind of got it a little bit off camera, but you can definitely tell that it's just a strip of felt. And I did cut 2 of those. Now here, I'm just going to go ahead and get everything lined up. For this project, we will be using a hot glue gun. It just makes it a lot easier than using like a double-sided tape or regular Elmer's glue. And the hot glue does adhere to the felt very, very quickly. So this is a pretty simple project if you're looking for an extra little filler for your child's Valentine's Day basket. I did take the wooden dowel and just spin it around in that hot glue, and it turned out perfect. And here's the end result. Okay, for this card, I'm going to be using a A2 size panel. I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side. I'm going to be using my Sizzix Big Shot. I'm also going to be using some of these stickers from the Paper Studio, which I picked up from Hobby Lobby. And then I'm also going to be using this embossing folder. When you are using your embossing folder, you will need to follow the instructions that are on this guide. It is easier to use a brand name embossing folder. If you don't use one, then you will have to build it up on your own if it does not work. So this calls for the big plate, a clear mat. Go ahead and put that one down. The embossing folder, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my piece of paper in it. Just like that. And then I'm going to set it right there. And then let's see, it calls for another clear plate. So I'm just going to turn the wheel like this and just roll it through. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and set my Sizzix Big Shot to the side along with the cutting plates. Now, whenever you open up your embossing folder, your paper will look just like this, and it turned out super cute. Look at all that detail. Now, it did go in there a little bit sideways, so I think I'm going to trim it up just a little bit. That way that it's pretty even. All right, and we'll just set that off to the side. Now I'm going to flip over this front panel and I'm going to add on some double-sided tape. I did pick this up from the Dollar Tree. It does come in a pack of 3. Just going to add on a few strips. And I'm going to take my weeding tool to peel off the backing. Now I'm going to add it to the front of my card. Just like that. And look how much did that transform the card already. Here is the pack of stickers that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. They are dimensional stickers, and so they have a piece of foam tape on the back of them, which I absolutely love. Since this card is going to be super simple, I'm just going to be using the balloons. And let's see, I think I'm just going to put them about right there. I was going to use the cake, but I really want a sentiment on here, and so I think I'm just going to go with happy birthday. And I think that that is all that we're going to add to this card. Again, this is a super simple card, and whenever you open it up, you can just write your little message in there, and this is how the card turned out. It was super quick to make. I hope that she enjoys this card. Let's go on to the next craft. Let's go ahead and get started on the Valentine's Day basket tags. I'm going to be using my Brother PE 800 embroidery machine. I'm also going to be using this tearaway sticky stabilizer. It has been such a staple in my embroidery journey, as you would say. I'm going to take my stabilizer and put it in between the hoop, just like this, and make sure that everything is super flat. Then I'm going to tighten up the hoop to make sure that everything is in there nicely. Then I'm going to take my weeding tool and I'm going to just mark a line down the middle, and I only want to tear what is inside the hoop, but make sure that you don't go all the way through it. I didn't want to take off the whole entire top before I put it in the hoop, because then the whole entire page would be sticky, and I only want this section to be sticky on here. Now I'm going to take my red piece of fabric and I'm going to use this Heat and Bond Light. It is a iron-on adhesive. It keeps the fabric from fraying. I'm just going to cut a piece big enough to cover up this section of the fabric. I'm also going to trim up the corners, that way that whenever I iron the Heat and Bond Light to the fabric, the Heat and Bond does not stick to my ironing board. Now let's go ahead and iron the Heat and Bond Light to the fabric. Whenever you start ironing, you need to make sure that your iron is set to a temperature that is listed on the packaging. I actually found that it was very helpful for me to use a heat setting that was a little bit higher than what they recommended. I do actually go on the back as well, just to make sure that everything has adhered to the fabric. Once you're done ironing, just set it to the side, let it cool off for a few seconds. Once it's done cooling, you are able to pull off the backing just like this. If it's still sticking to the fabric, that means that you need to iron it again. I did pick up a big piece of felt from Joann's. It actually is about 2 yards, I believe, and it was only about $2 or $3. So that was super cheap, and I figured that I would just go ahead and stock up on it, since I do make quite a bit of tags and various projects with felt. I am going to cut this piece of felt down to the size of the fabric, and then I'm going to place it onto my hoop. You want to make sure that it's super flat. You don't want any sort of crinkles in there. And let's go ahead and move over to my embroidery machine. I'm going to go ahead and put the hoop onto the machine. I do already have the design pulled up on my embroidery machine. We're going to be using this white thread today. I will have it linked in the description box below. I am putting down the tack stitch now, and then I'm going to add the red fabric. You want to make sure that you do that tack down stitch first, so you know exactly where to put your fabric at, especially if it's a larger or a smaller design and you don't have enough fabric. So that's why that tack down stitch is very important. But here it is, stitching out the heart shape, and then we are doing my son's name, which is Brady. Once we're done, we're going to go ahead and take it off of the machine, and you can see here that it turned out super cute. Let's go ahead and head back over to my table, that way that we can get everything trimmed up. I'm going to take it off the hoop, and I'm going to be using these embroidery scissors. I did buy these from Joann's a while back as well. Joann's is one of my favorite places to shop for all of my crafting supplies. These little embroidery scissors, they do get those tiny little strings that you would probably miss if you were using a bigger pair of scissors. Now you see here on the back where you can still see some of the stitching. You could have easily put a piece of fabric on the back and used your embroidery machine to cover that up, but I'm just going to let it be for today. You could also cut a heart out of the felt and hot glue it to the back, but right now I'm just picking up the stabilizer and I'm separating it from the felt. This is a tearaway stabilizer, and so it's super easy to just tear it away. Now I'm going to take my scissors and cut all the way around the heart. Now that we're done trimming around the heart, this is what it should look like. I'm going to take my roller tool and I'm going to cut open this little piece right here. This is where the string is going to go through to attach it to their little Valentine's Day basket. Just make sure that whenever you're cutting that your hole is big enough to fit either ribbon or twine through it. I was going to use the ribbon, but it looks a little bit too girly, so I think I'm going to go with this jute twine. I did pick this up from the Dollar Tree. It was $1.25, and I'm just going to thread it through the back part, and then I'm going to push it through, over through the front, and then out through the back again. And then I'm also going to make sure that there's enough jute twine on here just to make sure that I can attach it to their Valentine's Day basket. And so as you can see here, this is how it turned out. I absolutely love this one. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's video. I hope that you enjoyed making the flag pennants with me and also the Valentine's Day basket tags. I did make another one for my son Ashton. The birthday card was pretty fun, and also the I love you card. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!